how long does it take you to make a trip to the grocery store or to the hospital? For people in northern Manitoba, it can take several hours and sometimes a plane ride. RRC TV's Liz Fraser went to Bloodvein First Nation and she joins us now live. Now, Liz, what are some of the big issues facing people in Bloodvein and other northern communities because of the lack of year-round roads?
Well, Amy, whenever I go to the grocery store, I usually cross the street and buy myself a jug of milk, and it costs between $2 and $3. But for people in these rural communities up north, they're spending between $7 and $8 on a jug of milk because all of their groceries are being flown in from major cities like Winnipeg. So that's why these roads are so important up in northern Manitoba.
Up in Bloodvein First Nation, they're clearing trees, piling and compressing gravel, and building bridges. That's because right now it takes 3 hours to drive from Bloodvein First Nation to Winnipeg in the winter. But once this ice thaws, it won't be that easy.
There's 3 general stores. I guess they have to use the road, otherwise they fly stuff in or have to wait for the ferry to come across the lake. And it's only Monday to Friday kind of thing.
In winter, members of the First Nation community drive over lakes, swamps, and marshes. Starting next week and for the next 9 months, they won't have that luxury. So the provincial government and Manitoba Eastside Road Authority are linking 13 First Nation communities to each other and to major cities like Winnipeg. Today, crews from Bloodvein and across Manitoba are working 6 kilometers outside the community in hoardings, these orange tents. Generators pump warm air in to keep the concrete from freezing.
Well, it just kind of gives everybody an outlook on what's out there, other than being isolated in one spot.
The workers are building a bridge across the Bloodvein River. The first road will be ready to use in the fall of 2014.
Currently, when the medical appointments, they're flown in and out. Once a road's built, they wait until they've got enough people to fill a van, and they go to the city.
The project was initiated in 2009, and the provincial government says it'll take up to 30 years in order to be completed. They also say that it'll cost up to $3 billion in order to have over 1,000 kilometers of roads that'll link these communities together.
And the people who live and work here that are also building the roads say all the work is worth it.
Ask not what your community can do for you, but what you can do for your community. And I feel that I'm doing this for my community, not only for myself.
Liz Fraser, RRC TV.
It may not be the case this year, but for several winters in the past, temperatures actually haven't been cold enough for people to use these winter roads, so they've had to use aircrafts instead.
So Liz, besides the cost of the groceries, what are some of the bigger problems associated with only having winter roads?
In rural communities like Bloodvein, a lot of these communities don't have hospitals or doctors, so they're having to, if someone has, say, a major health concern, if someone, say, has a heart attack, they'll have to wait a few hours or maybe a few days to receive a flight out to major cities like Winnipeg. And again, there aren't high schools in these small towns, so a lot of students will have to go to, say, Hollow Water or Toulon or Winnipeg in order to receive an education. So again, commuting back and forth is so important on these roads.
Now, Liz, the construction is expected to last until 2039. Why are these roads taking so long to build?
We actually spoke with the CEO of Manitoba Eastside Road Authority, and he was telling us that the project isn't funded by the federal government. So if it were, it would take only 15 years instead of 30. So that's why it's taking a little while. And again, these contractors are working against the weather. So once the temperature heats up, they won't be able to work on the winter roads anymore.
Thanks, Liz.
You're welcome.